In the vast and ancient library of human expression, there exist certain texts that speak across the ages. They are whispers from the past that resonate with our own moments of quiet desperation and profound need. One such remarkable piece of writing is Psalm 143. It's not a song of triumphant celebration, nor a recounting of great victories. Instead, it is a humble, heartfelt prayer. It's a plea for guidance, emerging from a place of deep trouble. This psalm serves as a timeless map for the soul, showing a way forward when our own path seems entirely lost in darkness. To truly understand the depth of this prayer, we must look to the one who is believed to have written it. Tradition tells us that the author of Psalm 143 was King David, a figure of immense importance in ancient history. He was a shepherd boy who became a mighty king, a giant slayer, a poet and a warrior. Yet despite his great power and many successes, David's life was also marked by profound sorrow and danger. He faced powerful enemies, experienced deep personal loss, and even fled from his own son, Absalom. It is from this place of immense personal crisis that these words are thought to have emerged. Imagine this king, not in his grand palace surrounded by servants and soldiers, but alone, maybe in a cave or out there in the wilderness. He is a refugee, hunted, betrayed. The psalm opens with a tone of profound weariness and desperation. David does not begin with praise or thanksgiving. He begins with a plea for God to simply listen. Lord, hear my prayer. Listen to my cry for mercy. We can feel the urgency in his words, the sense of a soul stretched to its breaking point. He speaks of his spirit growing faint within him, his heart dismayed. This is the language of someone who is emotionally and spiritually exhausted, someone whose own inner resources have been completely depleted by the relentless pressure of their circumstances. The emotions expressed are raw and deeply human. There is a palpable sense of being overwhelmed, of being pursued by an enemy that feels inescapable. David describes his soul as being crushed to the ground and feeling as though he is dwelling in darkness like those long dead. This is not just simple sadness, it's a profound sense of isolation and hopelessness. He speaks of his soul thirsting for God like a parched land. Think of dry, cracked earth, desperate for a single drop of rain to bring it back to life. That is how David describes his need for divine comfort and presence. Having laid his weary soul bare, David makes a crucial turn. He does not remain stuck in his sorrow or fear. Instead, he actively seeks a way forward by turning his focus toward God. He begins by remembering God's faithfulness in the past. I remember the days of long ago. I meditate on all your works. I consider what your hands have done. This is a deliberate act of the will. Instead of dwelling on his current troubles, he chooses to fill his mind with memories of past deliverance and divine goodness. This act of remembering becomes the anchor for his hope, reminding him that he has been helped before and can be helped again. The central plea of the psalm is a request for clear and simple direction. David does not ask for a detailed map of the future or for all his problems to vanish overnight. His prayer is much simpler and more immediate. Show me the way I should go. This is the humble request of someone who knows they are lost. It's an admission that he cannot find the path on his own and needs a guide to show him the very next step. He asks God to teach him and to lead him on level ground. Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love. As the psalm draws to a close, the tone shifts subtly but significantly. While the problems may not have vanished, a quiet confidence begins to emerge. David concludes his prayer by placing his trust entirely in God, his hiding place, his refuge. Even while surrounded by danger, he chooses to believe that he is safe and protected. This shift from fear to trust is the ultimate destination of the prayer. The final verses are a prayer for deliverance and renewal, rooted in the character of God. The message of hope in Psalm 143 is gentle and profound. It teaches us that faith is our lifeline in a storm. It does not promise that the waters will immediately become calm, but it assures us that we will not be allowed to sink. The act of prayer itself, speaking our fears, remembering past goodness, asking for guidance, declaring our trust, is what keeps us afloat. It is a spiritual exercise that strengthens our soul and slowly replaces our anxiety with a quiet, resilient hope. It is the journey from the darkness of despair to the gentle light of dawn. Ultimately, Psalm 143 is a timeless companion for anyone navigating a difficult season. It reminds us that our feelings of fear and weariness are valid, but they do not have to be our final destination. By following David's example, we can turn our face towards the morning even when the night feels long. We can ask for guidance for the next step, trusting that we will be shown the way.